Hello, hello, hello. My name is Joelle, and this is In the Cards with the Viberarian. I'm so excited because this is new technology. I can't even hide my joy, okay, about this. This is great. I am here tonight with Chris, the Bearded Tarotist. And we are getting ready to have an amazing evening. So I've got to get set to see where my chat room is because it's a little different now. Thank you to my moderator on YouTube. I saw you out there already holding it down. And let's see if we can find that little chat stream here. Okay, yay. Hey, Stacy. Hello, Tanya. Folks just getting off work and dropping in for the stream. So excellent. Okay, here's the comments. Yay. Okay, here we go. Y'all will have to pardon us while we play with this little playground here. I am super excited to be here. As I said, my name is Joelle and I am the Viberarian. I am here to elevate, enlighten, and empower. One of the ways that I do that is through using oracle cards, and I absolutely love them. As you can see behind me, I have quite a collection. Excuse me, I think they're a beautiful way to really have a conversation with spirit. And so when I come here on Wednesdays and play here on YouTube, it is with people who also love oracle cards like I do. And of course, my guest tonight, Chris, you are amazing. Let me tell you all, Chris and I had a great conversation last night on the Psychic Inside show. I really appreciated that time you spent with me. And, you know, I actually went into my human design chart after we got off the call because I was like, what is my design? You know, my moderator was dropping text to me saying, you're a manifesting generator, you know? So, I mean, it was just really great, not just that particular part. But thank you so much for being with me last night.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was good.
Your awakening story was fantastical. So I really invite anybody. We'll put the link. It'll actually be here on the YouTube channel shortly, and you'll be able to listen to our conversation. And again, like your stories of how you're driving down the highway and, you know, all the encounters that you were having and the rapid acceleration.
Right.
So I'm super excited. I'm hoping that we'll see Amy Catherine maybe pop in since she is connected and has done In the Cards with us before. I'm going to shoot her a text here in a minute. Okay. But we are going to be talking about decks from your collection this evening. We have a little bit of a mutual love thing going on with what first drew my attention is that you also had the deck that I used one day, the Pulp Tarot. Right. And I thought I was getting and snagging a super unique thing. And here I go to lay it out on the table. And you're like, aha. Okay. So like, how did you come across this deck?
Well, it was actually it was the night with Amy Catherine, and you had the deck out, and I noticed you had pulled out the hangman, and I was like, that looks a lot like the zombie tarot deck. Yes, and that was the comment I had made. And so then like I had to pull out the pulp, you know, I had to get the Pulp Tarot deck and start like comparing the art back and forth. So I mean, that was like kind of a cool little deal. I was like, oh, I can see that here and I can see that there.
And as soon as you brought it up, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, my friend Kim, who's here tonight. Thank you, Kim. I've been trying to lean on her because she has that zombie deck. And matter of fact, she's the person who really started introducing me to cards many, like over a decade ago. So Kim, I'm so glad you're here. But that zombie tarot, the hangman card, was very interesting. I'll pull it out in the Pulp Tarot if you want to look for it in the zombie deck, if you've got it handy. And what's interesting is that the hangman has been a theme in my own personal readings and in my client readings for about a good 3 to 4 weeks. And I'll tell you like the message that my guides give me when we talk about the card here. But if anyone else, oh yeah, Kimmy got a star. Let's again, the chat is pretty active. How
right? Yeah,
so I haven't found it yet in mine.
I found mine. I got mine.
Let's see it. This one, oh, I'm going to keep this one out. Hold on. Gracious. I love these cards. Just.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
All right, here it is. Okay, of course, it's like the third to the last deck card in 78 cards when you're really looking for it, right? Okay, so the Hangman in the Pope Tarot. Okay, the Hangman and the Zombie. Okay, where's the blood and the zombie hands are down at the bottom, eh?
Right, the zombie hands are reaching up, and he has a gun in one hand and actually a bite on his arm.
Oh, so he's going down.
Yeah, so
it's inevitable he's going down, right?
Right, exactly. So, and I mean, and you could look into that more too, because you're like, is he going to use the gun for himself, or is he going to try and take out the last remaining zombies that are there? It kind of the story just develops right in with just this card. I mean, you pull this out, and you could spend 20 minutes just working on this card. So.
Well, it's so wonderful because as you shared last night, like for you, it's really a prompt that just generates a whole dialogue of messages, irrespective of like rider weight or systemic energy. Right. And I have very much the similar experience in that it activates my clairvoyance in a way, and then boom, it kind of drops in the narrative. Yeah. And what's so interesting is this. This is the story my guides show me every time I get this card. And this may be a trigger warning for people, but this is reminding me of the falling man, which after September 11th, when the Twin Towers came down, there is this iconic article where a photojournalist captured this moment. And it was like, who was this person? And the striking part was that there seemed to be a peacefulness, or it was not flailing arms. It was just this kind of repose that was so unusual, so much so that the person who wrote an article investigating it won like a Pulitzer journalism award for their writing about it. It's a very poignant essay. But in this energy here, the person is not horrified either. It's almost like he's saying, howdy, neighbor, like from like this perspective of a friendly yokel almost energy. And there's not any. It's like when you're hanging out in the hangman position, that's the thing to remember, is that it is not meant, it is stressing in that it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, but it's not like the tower, which is a stressor that causes a crucible of change. It's a perspective changing pause.
Right.
You get, depending on when the man moment comes for you.
Well, and then the crowd's reaction to him is they're not reacting to him. So it's kind of one of those things again. It's like, it might be a situation where you feel like you're going through all this stuff and everybody's looking at you, but they're really not,
right.
They're really not paying attention to your, whatever thing you might be going through at the time. So yeah, that's a great story there.
Well, and the whole being distracted, I'm getting like the Matrix, the woman in the red dress, right? So they always talk about that. But another story that has gone around through my circle about this is there was a young man who, it was like his day of destiny for his soul was to be in the Twin Towers and to be helping people come down. And the thing that was known about him was he had on, I want to say it was a red shirt. My people in the chat might be able to say or not, but it was like people just remembered this guy with a bandana and a certain colored shirt, and people after people relayed how to the very end he helped them. like get an
Mm-hmm.
escape, right? So I'm seeing this green cloaked man with this heart of love,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's looking down on the crowd. That's a perspective change, is if you can look at the masses differently, look at the external world differently before you are, because the hangman always comes when, like, we can take the opportunity the hangman presents to put ourselves in a situation to enlarge our boundary, or a few steps later, we arrive at the place in the journey where it all comes crashing down.
Correct.
Right.
Right. Right. Yeah. You can take it in and try and do something about it, or you can just not and let things happen to you, and you can't be mad with the outcome because you didn't do anything to affect it. So
Right. And the hangman is a challenge, right? Like when we talk about in the tarot, one of my guests shared with me that she knew a lot about Odin. And that, part of it is that when Odin was on the tree, what he needed to be enlarged to was to the feminine perspective. And so, like the plucking of the eye kind of paradigm, which we see as violent, but it's like so radically removed from the masculine, to be able to find empathy through the feminine by convoluting oneself or going through a painful or awakening experience, being willing to do that, right? That's a big compassionate statement in general. Like, if we could all convolute a little, uncomfortably, yes, though it may be,
right.
to take that pause to change our perspective, to find as most radical, most oppositional thing that we can only really, truly,
Right.
we can always say, oh, I understand. But when you really walk a mile with a uterus or a penis, or penis, like let's be real, like there is a certain gender difference in how you are seen by the external world, not even talking about your internal experience. You know what I'm saying? So that's a radical departure to find the commonality. Then let me reemerge on my journey, my pause, after I found that common moment or that thing I never could have seen before, and then progress upon my journey, and at this point, at a higher frequency is what we all have an opportunity for. Yeah. I'm curious about that zombie. I'm really curious about that zombie, like, because it's like the opposite. In yours, you've got this crowd that wants to maul and grasp, and versus this crowd that's really unbothered.
Right. And if you can tell, if you can see in the buildings to either side, there's human people. They're not zombies, that are kind of reaching out or just watching what's going on, in at the same time. And he's not really falling. He has like a noose around his leg. So is he being dangled for bait?
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot, a whole lot different. It's interesting you mentioned with he's wearing the red shirt in this one.
Yeah.
He's got the fully red shirt in this. So
yeah, and it's that rooted, that red always is going to be rooted.
Oh, yep.
I want to see what the guidebook says in mind. Does the zombie? So this Pope Tarot has a nice little bitty, kind of brief guide. It's always interesting. It has one for yours too.
Yeah, it's a cool little book. It's a little bit superficial, I guess. It's kind of a once over, and it doesn't do the reverse of cards, so that's kind of interesting. But let me try and find the little. There it is. So that's how it's.
Hold on, I'm about to make you bigger. Hold on. hold on. There. Oh yeah. A turning point. Sacrifice himself, distracting the zombie so his friends might live but not every sacrifice is necessarily terminal. There's a good chance you've arrived at an epiphany that will allow you to continue on your path. It's time to discard old ideas and move on. Often, this is the only way to set yourself free. All right, that's on page 28. I received that. It's not too macabre. I mean, the zombie
No.
deck, some of the cards are a little brutal in that, but I mean, it's zombies, right? It's not
Right.
for kids, for
And
sure.
no, it's not for kids, but I mean, I've seen the cards, some of the cards you had on your show before that are definitely not for kids. They have
Definitely not.
definitely not for kids, but this is a fun deck to do. So this
That's
would be,
what I don't know if Kim has any comments in the chat, because that's one thing about the whole campy part of zombie culture, not like the Walking Dead part of,
right.
I can do that part about the funny, droll. I don't know if you could find one card that you think exemplifies that. I'm going to read what it says here in this deck about the hangman while you do. I'm going to switch over again. All right. Okay, so the hangman has been hoisted up by his foot and put on public display in the town square, where he is gawked at by passersby. What did he do to deserve this kind of treatment? This kind of persecution? We don't know. Was he strung up by a hostile authoritative force, or did he string himself up to some kind of stalemate? Whatever the case, he seems to be perfectly okay looking at the world upside down, which is what the card is really about. Looking at the world from an inverse point of view, regardless of what other people think. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little bit different, but kind of
Yeah.
right on the money as well too. So yeah,
converges. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, when talking about like the campiness a little bit here is kind of like the Five of Wands. I'm trying to think of what it is in Rider Waite, the Five of Wands with that. But this one comes out a little bit more of the camp. You have two children zombies fighting over an arm while the man's trying to get away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the difference between that and the Five of Swords in there? Because I mean, that's pretty.
Well, this one doesn't have swords, I don't believe.
Or what do they do for?
They have. Oh no, they do have swords. It's the pentacles that they don't. They do hazards instead of.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember that now.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the Five of Wands in this deck. Three. One thing about these cards in this particular deck, they are thick, sturdy, of high quality printing, and a great tuck box. I mean, just a really well done deck all around. So kudos to, hold on, I've got a trick here. I got to put my little, I got to put my fancy things on. Everybody, hold on. Give me just a moment.
There you go.
I don't think I added the zombie tarot because I didn't know we were going to use it, but I'll have to create one. So we'll, hold on. I think I can edit it. This is great.
Just edit it on the fly. Just
right.
Yeah, that's what being live is all about. Just like making it look good.
I mean, and letting people know what we're using, so when they jump to this at a later date, they'll be able to see it. All right, the Pope Tarot and the Zombie Tarot. All right. We're definitely cooking with oil now. All right. So I still didn't find that card, but go ahead. I think that so two kids gnawing on a bone, like on a human arm. Like, what is that energy?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it says that even zombies will fall prey to an occasional petty squabble. But while you and your buddy argue over who gets to eat the big version, it's possible the rest of the corpse is mounting a swift escape. So
Okay.
remember, yeah. So remember, next time you find yourself in a quarrel, take a moment to consider what's really important. Even if you win this battle, you may have ultimately lost the war.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's a
That's,
petty
I mean,
squabble. Yep.
this one is the Five of Wands in here. And it's interesting because it's got a cowboy dude in plaid, it's got a businesswoman, a police officer type or a mailman, somebody. It's just like a spectrum of different kind of people, male and females, but everybody was kung fu fighting, right? Five of Wands that's the song I always get with that, right?
That's awesome.
Which he better be kung fu fighting because Five of Swords is that what you kill my dog, I slay your cat card. That's like Knives Out energy. So, like you said in the Five of Wands, like, are you missing something? Like right now, that's part of our situation as well. Is we're jockeying for energy, for primacy, for this, that, and the other. Is it really important to leverage yourself over another now? When in the long run,
Correct.
you're
Yeah.
missing a greater opportunity for something that really could have been let go.
Pick your battles, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Now, this card in here I have to share that I had pulled out a while ago is the Tower. And I have to tell you, the Tower has been coming up for me. Today it came up again for me. It's been coming up for my clients. I'm like, what is going on? This Tower is like the towering inferno. It also brings in Ghostbusters, the little building where they were trying to open in the museum. They were trying to open a dark portal or whatever with the German-speaking deity or whatever. I think they were trying to find the little baby. I think her refrigerator.
That was Ghostbusters too, where the
Gozar or something like I don't know. It was all. I mean, the talk about campy Ghostbusters, right? But I mean, like opening portals and the destruction though that happens that needs to happen with the Tower. That's the whole understanding also of the hero's journey is that there is such benefit in this. It's a hard experience, right?
It's that dark night of the soul where you all have to go through it. It has to be that that testing of metal to see what to see how you get out the other side and how it goes through that. Yeah, that's I mean the tower card is pretty significant. In fact, I have a joke on my Bearded Tarotist Instagram where I talk about like if you get a new deck of tarot cards, it's important that as soon as you take the plastic off, go through the cards and pull out the Tower card and just throw it away because you don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
Did you get some circulation on that?
Oh yeah, that one went really well. I was proud of myself on that one for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the other thing. Be sure to check out Animal Beard Brand on Instagram because, you will get a chuckle throughout your day and some levity, which is always great.
Yeah.
Now, in this deck, it says the Tower is... here comes trouble. The Tower is a tall building, but tall buildings are the first to be attacked by lightning. This tower is in crisis, burning down under a stormy sky. Will anything be left of the tower by the time the fire has burnt itself out? Will humankind ever control the hubris that compels them to build towers ever higher, inviting greater and greater cataclysm? What towers have you built, and how much has your hubris blinded you to your tower's weaknesses?
Wow. That's pretty significant because see the tower in this deck seems a little bit more there's the lightning, but
Mm-hmm.
the tower itself seems supposed to be like a fortress. It's not going anywhere. It's not.
It's right. That's the
It's not
opposite, right?
right. But with the picture inside, though, the people inside are kind of losing their mind a little bit going inside. It's kind of hard to.
But there's no zombies.
I don't
Are they
believe
holding
so.
the zombies at bay?
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to tell on that one, and I got my old readers on too, so it's hard to.
Oh, I know. I see. I'm like trying to find the right level of my tripod here, but
there's a focus on it. Kind of looks like maybe the zombies are at the door, but not a really big problem. And then the how it explains it here is sudden change, questioning conventions. And then the first line, sure, everything seems fine.
I'm switching you over. There we go. Oh my goodness. You're 20 stories above ground in a private building that's guarded by an elite security force. What's the harm in relaxing with a few friends? The tower reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. You never know when horde of zombies might come shambling through your door. This is an ideal time to question the reality of your situation. Are you as safe and secure as you think? Ooh.
Okay. I like that.
Now that's even, more, because like the whole thing again with the tower is that we have that inner opportunity to have the tower where we just, okay, all right, I don't have to have it externally deconstructed. I'll deconstruct it myself and thoroughly, as thoroughly as the external force would have voluntarily. No more dark nights of the soul necessary. Right. But that external tower, again, that message of like you have to be like, some things have to be destroyed in order for birth and creation to take place. So like finding the deeper lesson of that is hard, but it's worth the work.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like the old Sun Tzu, Art of War thing, which actually I have an oracle deck that's the Art of War, but Sun Tzu states that if you have yourself defended so well that you can't escape, you're not giving yourself any way to go in case something fails. So always give yourself a way out. It's like that. If you build your fortress, you have your tower, and you're up on the 20th floor, there's no way out, and then you're back into your hanged man descending situation.
Well, and that speaks to our 5 of Wands and our challenges with others. Like when we hardline our mindsets, we back ourselves into a position that we might find ourselves as unsustainable, right? That goes back to like seeing, is it really worth it? And then allowing your perspective to be changed because, what happens a lot of times, let's say you have a prejudice issue. Then, your son goes and marries the person of the race you have a prejudice issue with, and then you have beautiful grandbabies. And now you're faced with all the corner you backed yourself into, but on the other side of that is this beautiful baby that you realize is just a human being.
Correct. Yeah.
In the first place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's a good tower, an external thing that came and shifted you into a more loving place, even though the marriage itself might have been a little disruptive to the psyche of the person. Like, that's like, how can we apply that to becoming greater loving as we're going through this evolutionary shift?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the things I love about tarot is when you get these readings, there's no one card that's going to be like, it's the crashing thing. It's all in the perspective. It's all in how that story unfolds for you and how much you're willing to take it. I mean, the devil card is the old cigarette machine.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, and the devil card in the Rider-Waite is, you know, kind of a scary looking thing. You know, you've got that big horned creature, and then you have the two naked individuals with the chains around their necks, and you know, someone from the outside that doesn't know could just see that card and be like, "Oh, this is terrible.
Tarot cards are evil."
Yeah, it's evil, and that's kind of like the play on my name too, with the Tarotist. Is, you know, it sounds like terrorist, but
right,
you know,
right.
Come on.
Right. You're so subversive.
That's me. That's me.
Acts of metaphysical terrorism.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I know you had Metatron there on your wall behind you, so that's your secret weapon.
That's right. Camera on my neck
trying
too.
to see what the devil is in here. I would love for you to pull a card for us for the collective for this evening. Like, oh yeah, this one is the traditional, you know.
Oh yeah. That's the old
1950s holiday movie with cheesy sound effects.
Yep.
And no, this is that guy Anton Levitt. I don't even know who's on here. The enslaved woman and the enslaved man. So they're under the spell of something in this particular version.
According to my card, they're under the
addiction.
They're addicted to cigarettes. Actually, that's a great segue, because you talked about wanting to do a card.
Oh yeah, I don't want to forget you to do your addiction. That would be great. Like, let me change the title over here for that, because
there you go.
Okay, so the other deck that you have is the. Okay, we're gonna keep the cigarettes up here, right? We've got to keep that going. Okay, you can keep on. Oh, there it is. Show. The Addiction and Recovery Oracle deck. All right. So, let's make that. With the Law of Attraction.
Using the Law of Attraction.
Okay, let me send you the front. There you go. Okay, you had shared, I saw one of those cards on your Instagram.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to okay, so if we are enslaved to something, right?
Right.
Which there's a lot of ways that manifests. And enslaved means that it's something external to us cedes a greater power over us than what our internal will is able to do at any given point.
Right.
No judgment in that statement, right?
Correct.
It's just what it is.
That's what happens. Addiction can come in many forms. I've had issues with alcohol, food addictions, a lot of that stuff going up. And for me personally, actually embracing this more spiritual side, the metaphysical, actually helped me heal a lot of that. And which was really great, which kind of led me to Mary Beth, the creator of this deck. And that's kind of along the same line. She's a life coach. It's an expert in the Law of Attraction. And she developed a system and actually helped, because traditional AA and stuff like that wasn't helping her. So she developed her own system, and it's really great. So this deck, the way it's designed, it's literally you pull a card a day, and it gives you your direction, gives you what you focus on, and you move through that. And it helps, even if you are kind of in control of your addictions, whatever they might be. It's a good, kind of a great way of just going about your day. Kind of giving you.
I can see that, because if I know like the 5 of Wands came up for me, it's a struggle day.
Yeah.
Not in the same correlation, but the same way that I would use an oracle or tarot for my regular day. It gives me a heads up, like, help me be better today. Thank you for the messages. I could see why that deck. And it's an oracle deck, right? So it's not set on any system of lessons or archetypes. It's a standalone resource, right?
Right. And Mary Beth, when I ordered it, I sent her, because I found her on Instagram, I sent her a quick message, and I was like, "Hey, I just ordered your cards." And she's all like, "Oh, great. I wasn't planning on going to the post office today, but it looks like I'm going to." So she literally has the decks in her house. She goes and she mails them out, and she gave me a nice little journal book with a sweet little note in it. I mean, it's very, a very personal touch to her. This is her
Well,
baby.
I'm going to ask her through you to come on, and maybe the two of you could both join me for another, episode, because
that's awesome.
That's why I love oracle cards, because they are a tool to facilitate a conversation with a higher aspect, or, a spiritual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are driving people creating, is their lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
You said AA didn't work for her. So when she's turning to answer, she turns within and then creates something.
Same thing.
And turns it. That's beautiful. That's
right.
perfection.
It's amazing. Yeah. She's a really nice lady. And and then I'd actually talked to her about podcasts and stuff. She's like, "Oh yeah, I love doing podcasts. And just let me know. Let me know what you want to do." So she would love to come on this show for sure.
Great.
But what popped out for us in this particular reading is momentum. Discover yourself. So,
let me make you bigger again.
Yep.
Oh, that's so interesting. Mm-hmm.
So let me read this. It's pretty in depth. So, when it comes to addiction and breaking bad habits, abstinence is undeniably easier than moderation. Once you open the door and allow for just one drink or just one cigarette, you tell yourself it's a special occasion, or I'm making an exception. Most likely, you will continue to make allowances until the next thing you know, you're right back where you started. Today, it is important for you to be extremely aware of your momentum to prevent any setbacks. And every morning you wake up with a clear slate and fresh momentum. It is a new day to think about thoughts and to make better decisions. As you sleep each night, the momentum from the day before subsides. When you wake up, a fresh perspective on the day and the ability to create a completely new energy that you've had the day before. Have you ever noticed when something bad happens in your day, and leads to another, and then another, and then another? This is because of the negative momentum being introduced. But you will have the ability to turn things around instead of letting a bad day continue until you go to sleep at night. So, this is what it is. It's talking about your momentum for the day. Build on your days, and then remember that, that one little exception isn't always going to work. So if you and I had a conversation about boundaries last night offline. And that's the thing, when you're trying to establish boundaries, you're establishing boundaries with things that's going on in your life. So you've got to have hard boundaries. And if you allow an exception in, it just takes that one little thing to break it down. So that's the message that's coming through with this.
Well, what's so interesting is I noticed about that rock is it's not like rounded. It looks like it would like ka-chunk, like it has hard edges and like structure.
Yeah, it's not symmetrical. It's not, and the slope he's on is a downward slope, but it's not a severe slope. It's a gradual slope too. So it's going to work. He's going to have to work at every turn to get that rock to where he needs to put it. So,
well, and it's one of the themes that's been coming up has been like the repetition of what you do. So in, mythology, the Sisyphus is pushing the boulder up the hill infinitely, right? Like always, never reaching like the top, never, ever. Like that's his labor of perpetuity, right? Yep. And the first thing that struck me when I saw the boulder going the other way was like, okay, in perpetuity, if you can swing your momentum in perpetuity to be easier with the assistance of the natural flow versus orienting your pendulum upwards, which you can do, like through the momentum. If you keep the momentum, now the rock is not going to go anywhere when you're pushing upwards. It might go a little bit, but like your momentum and efforts are going to just be absorbed in the continuance of that negative thing, you know. But the other way, the easy way, it's replicates the momentum gains instead of momentum becoming lost or stagnant.
Right. Yeah,
And
you're using that energy that's built up from that repetition and that kind of work at it. I guess that I can't. The words are escaping me.
Yeah, it's like an amplification of
correct. Yeah.
So that's a very, very interesting. So that's letting you know, right? Like I feel the momentum today, even in yesterday, with the skills that I acquired that got me over some humps that were challenging me to grow and to expand. I asked for assistance to enlarge my perspective because I didn't know how to do some things. And slowly but surely, I started getting more things and finding more resources and gaining momentum. And then, you know what I'm saying, in the flow. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Right.
But in that moment of challenge, that's when I took the tactic of, let's say, the higher choice versus whereas in an addiction state, then that frustration would have led me to the pint of vanilla ice cream in the freezer.
Right.
As the momentum of the negativity of my frustration was amplified and moved on through that chain, right?
Exactly.
And then I said, is it worth it to be stressing if it doesn't happen? That's that 5 of Wands, right? Like, I love how life is in like the archetype story of the energies. And that's, I also love how we're each experiencing it very uniquely.
Correct. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's awesome. But yeah,
pull us another one. Like we have a little bit more time here, and we'll see if anyone has any comments in the chat. Thank you, everyone who is joining. This is so much fun.
I do like to say hi to everybody that's in the chat. I think Mindy popped in there for a second.
Yes.
She's an old friend of mine, and she listened to the podcast last night, and she jumped in here today. So I really appreciate her being around. I haven't seen her in a while.
There she is. We got her on screen. Hey. Oh, I love it. This is so great. All right.
She's been there thing for me for the past. Oh, there you go, Mindy. Good to see you. Well, look at here. This just popped right out. This is vibration.
Oh, vibrational bridge. Oh, let me switch it again. Here we go. Oh, I love it. All right, to the good vibe tribe that's here.
Got my learning momentum ready. All right. So we are all vibrational beings. Everything in the universe is made up of energy vibrating at different rates, which you can see when you view everything under a microscope. Oh, when you view it under a microscope. All things are made of the same energy, organized by levels such as speed, rate, and frequency. Therefore, everything is connected at an energetic level, and we are always attracting people and situations that live with our vibrations. Your current vibration consists of your feelings, thoughts, and overall state of being. Today, focus on raising your vibration by being the vibration of what you desire. Have you ever noticed that when you want something desperately, you push it away from you? This is because you are vibrating at the level of desperation and lack, which creates an energetic block. Wanting something anxiously causes you to focus on the fact that you don't currently have it, which creates a distance between you and the very thing you're trying to attract.
This is so, like, that's the third time in 48 hours that teaching about, your connection and lack energy or frequency energy and the message that you're sending out to call back into yourself. It must be super important. That Five of Wands, like what we're doing with our energy must be super important because it's coming through again and again.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about last night with the reading on there, that she's clouding her vision by wanting it so much. She's creating her own block where she can't get to it. So
yeah. That's so interesting. Could you share that again, if you would not mind? Yes. I love that.
Yeah, some gorgeous artwork too. I don't know who their artist is, but
oh yes. See, and everything is connected as well, right? There's no separation,
right,
of our energies at all.
And don't try and match the vibration of the things that you want to bring it closer to you, as opposed to just
one. Let me see here. I have this Magdalene manifestation cards, as Stacy knows. Stacy in there, she turned me on to this beautiful deck that she was gifted with. Oh, let me get myself back to 2 screen here.
I was just looking at myself the whole time. It was cool.
Let me see. I play with all the technology. Let me hide that there. Okay, we're back on. Right, the Magdalene manifestation cards. And so these are portals about creating abundance through love. And so each of these cards is like a portal and a teaching. And the one that I got this week was the infinite, let me see here. Infinite Love Meridian, Structured Flow. All right. And it says resources require clear pathways to come into your life. Open the way to grow with structure and flow. Let me find the teaching on that, because it was talking about recognizing the vibration of source in order to allow it to flow to you without blocking it, right? That same kind of information. Let me see here. It says, the infinite love meridian taps you into the source of all your manifestations and shifts your focus from a finite amount of abundance coming from a limited source to one of being connected to the infinite source of all abundance, which is source. A meridian is a pathway of energy that naturally flows through your system and the earth and illuminates the non-physical network that connects all that there is with all that there is. This network of meridians creates pathways between you and the physical and non-physical. In this energy, there is an opportunity to amplify this network of connections to bring into your vibrational proximity that which you are choosing to create. All right. So we've got that magical network of us, heart-connected beings, in that vibrational card you just pulled, right?
Right.
Access this and amplify the magical network of connections to bring into that which we are choosing to create. Your manifestations are always much closer than you realize. At times, they are simply looking for a pathway to find you, a meridian by which they may come into your life. This code is an invitation to expand. Perhaps it is time to create new streams of income, networks of relationships, a structure for your time, or ways for your energy and body to play. Open the way by taking action towards your dreams and being the individual who has what you desire. Okay. I mean, this is perfect because we're looking at ways to change our perspective in order to amplify our collective experience of love.
Right.
Breaking down radically structures with the tower through this action. The momentum of gaining towards ease is behind us, at least in this particular network. Like, we've got the wind at our back because of that collective love that we are adding and amplifying each other with. Like, everyone here is amplifying,
Right.
even our energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where 2 or 3 gather and there is a connection of common agreement,
Mm-hmm.
it's already viral.
Yeah, when you have up to 2 or more objects of matching vibrational frequencies, when one rings, the resonation
Oh,
gets them
yes.
all ringing, and then
Yes.
they all amplify, they all get louder.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It is awesome. That's why I love being in the cards. I love it. I do. Does anybody have any questions in the chat or any comments? I mean, this is beautiful because we are that collective structure now that has momentum to use to manifest our co-creations even
Right.
from here. So let me know what you're co-creating in the comments. And, if you've got anything going on that you're wanting to amplify the energy of, we're certainly here to hold space, apparently, for that.
Definitely. It reminds me of a story. It wasn't too long ago. It was my girlfriend, my daughter and I were hanging out. And when you have those spiritual epiphanies and you get those you're like, oh yeah, that's it. And you understand it and no one else is figuring it out. You got to try and explain it to everybody. And I was sitting there and I was trying to talk it, and for some reason, I just kept repeating the collective. It's about the collective. There's the collective, and you're a part of the collective, and they're just both looking at me with these blank stares, and they're like, my daughter's like, Dad, you can't say collective over and over again and just imagine, just it magically sticks for us. She's like, you're the worst cult leader ever.
That's hilarious. I mean, I love it though. I mean, of course, your kids have a great sense of humor,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
No, and it's funny because I'm laughing because, of course, my business association, the Viberary Collective, we're actually launching and having a mixer on March 2nd. So I thought I sent you the flyer, but yeah, I am creating a collective.
There you go. It's all about
we're
the
a cult of goodwill entrepreneurs. That's how
Oh, that's awesome.
No, but collective effort. Like, this is we did not incarnate into a singularity. Mm-hmm. We incarnated into a creation expression that is happening in multiplicity.
Correct.
So there is meant to be other cells, other chemicals, other things, other creations in our experience.
Right.
And the more we see that to be a co-created loving form for us to learn and grow in versus a polarity form of tension and trouble and towers and hangmans and zombie apocalypse, we can do that differently,
right?
In terms of our collective decision, for sure.
Well, and it goes back to the love meridians that you had pulled on that card. That's the communication. That's the energy that goes back to the collective, that strengthens the collection. The collective is that love energy, and nothing else does it. You can't be in lack. I'm sorry, my camera's all freaking out. You can't be in lack. You can't be in frustration. You can't be any of that negative low frequency vibrations and expect to kind of move forward. It just doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that's the thing, is our frequency doesn't lie, right? I'm trying to see where there was one other little thing. I'll have to find. I'm sure it'll come back around. Back around to it. But here we go.
Oh, this is awesome! Yeah. I immediately saw my energy tentacles blaze with light. Awesome! That's awesome. And then Stacy, yes, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to meet you guys all in person again. Was Stacy there that day that I met you the first time?
I don't know, Stacey, do you remember? I know it
There's
was
so many people there.
Mariana, was it Mariana?
Mariana, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Don's place, you never know. Oh, Tanya was there, she said.
Okay.
Yeah, like you never know. It's like a little, again, collective gravitational point where everybody comes to wind up,
Yeah.
recharging,
Okay.
refueling, downloading, connecting. So you'll
Yeah.
definitely be next time. Do you have, before we wrap up, do you have any decks that are on your, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it? Or that you're like, oh, this is the prize of my collection?
Not yet. I just recently purchased a deck that was from like a local artist, and I went to one of these macabre markets that that's at night and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't even gone through his deck yet. It's just I was trying to support local artists and stuff, and I haven't done that yet. But I'm kind of I don't know how you put it. I'm like as soon as I see a deck, I scoop it up. Like if it's something that like I have, like I said, we didn't even get to the Star Trek deck yet.
Oh, we didn't. We're gonna have to come back to that. Yeah. So we'll definitely. Oh my god.
And then I had back in my holster in case we didn't have enough time, or in case we had too much time. That there's the Fallout deck, which is based off a video game, a pretty popular computer video game. So that's completely out there too. So I don't have a unicorn deck that I want. Like there's that one that I'm trying to chase down, because as soon as I see it, I snatch it up.
Oh, like I have one unicorn deck, Diana Cooper's unicorns. It's like when the energies come forward, it's like I know when they're around a while that I need to get a tool to, to have effective conversations. So that's dragons and unicorns and oceans and fire and, like all the little symbol pathways kind of come forward when you start to work with the guidance from that realm.
So is it an addiction to start buying oracle decks and tarots? I mean, is that like, do I have to get an addiction oracle deck to fight my addiction for oracle and tarot decks? Like,
I mean, this is our meeting. We're here for the meeting. We're
this is a safe space,
Chris. Like we're out in public.
Right, we're out there.
And we're using our addictions for good and for our own. If anything, there is, sometimes let me just say here that my friend Kim, the one that turned me on a deck, she is a patron of the arts of tarot and oracle cards. She spins on decks from Kickstarters by artists and things that are one of a kind kind of stuff. That's why I keep strong arming her and talking about her in public with peer pressure to have her to come on, because I love that artists can make a living or at least supplement their portfolios by actually selling art in this way. It's spirit supporting them for creating a spiritual tool.
And that's one of the things that's great about the original Rider-Waite deck is that it exists. It's outside the copyright realm, so you can recreate it in any way you want to, and it doesn't interfere with anything. So you can put your own little twists on it and your own little stuff. It's really, it's just really cool. So
we're all here for the meeting.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Support. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been so much fun. So I will have to have you back. I'm here every Wednesday, and I want to definitely, I think the Star Trek deck was in my cart for a long time. And then I went through a whole retrospective of the Next Generation again for like the third time, but this time it was like really concentratedly serial for me. And let me tell you, the downloads that I got in the now moment versus when I watched it in the moment when it was out changed me, because I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm the person who used to have a dog named Jean-Luc after Jean-Luc Picard.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to have to come back for this.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yeah. We might just have to devote like one whole just to
Oh, a
that
whole
day. Yeah.
episode, I know. And
Yeah.
then we'll get Kim to come on back for the zombie deck. And then I would love again to talk with your Mary, was it Mary?
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth,
Yep.
yes.
I'll get you the contact info for her for sure.
Well, I am just so thankful for this time here. We had a great time. This is what I love. I'm so glad each of you joined me. Thank you, Good Vibe Tribe. We will be back here next Wednesday. We might be doing in the cars more than one day a week, as fun as this is, because this is having I don't have enough days to get all the decks in. You know, I'm already working on my own collection, and now you just ran like 3 or 4 more decks, and so
we're enablers. That's what happens.
We're codependent. we're codependently card heads. But,
right.
So, people, if you want to find Chris, he's at the Bearded Tarotist. I'm gonna giggle every time I hear that now. He's a metaphysical terrorist.
That's awesome.
But find him on Instagram, and also for Animal Beard brand, especially if you want little jokes, like I said. And if you're in the Houston area or want to reach out for a reading, please talk with Chris. And anything else, Chris, before we go?
No, I've absolutely loved this. This is incredible. This is great. This is awesome. And again, I'm not wearing pants, so it's another day.
Anything you can do without wearing pants.
Anything you can do without wearing pants, it's amazing. It's awesome. Love this.
This is my tribe for real, right? So, pantsless meetings for the every Wednesday on the Viberary YouTube channel. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and namaste.
Namaste.